Welcome back to the Art Room with Mr. Eck. Today we're going to be starting one of my favorite classic third grade projects, the stained glass art project. We are not going to be using actual stained glass because that's pieces of shards of glass. And as you can imagine, that's not very safe in elementary school. But we are going to be making an artwork that looks like stained glass, and man, it turns out so cool. So check out these 4 examples. You can think about which one you would like to do, or come up with your own, which is fine, and then I'll show you how we're going to make it. So the 4 examples I have worked up for the Texas stained glass art project are a cowboy hat with stars in the corners, a cactus with suns in the corners, the shape of Texas with our state flower, the bluebonnet, and there's little bluebonnets in the corners, or a longhorn with little longhorns in the corners. So you're welcome to choose one of those, or you can come up with your own Texas or country or rodeo theme to go along with us. So I'm going to be drawing the cowboy hat just because I'm got to pick one of them, right? And I think that one looks fun. And I'm going to show you step by step how to do this project. The steps of the project are the same no matter which one of these you choose, or if you choose to make your own image in the middle. So to get started on this project, we're going to start with a border. Every example of stained glass I've ever seen included a border, so we need to start with that first. I'm going to start a little bit in from the side of my paper. I'm going to hold down the paper so it doesn't move. I'm going to drag my pencil straight towards my chest, and that's how I draw a straight line. Drag it straight to my chest, and we're going to go right off the paper like that. So with the size paper we're using in class, you'll probably want a 1 or 2 inch border. It does not have to be exact. Just make sure you leave, it doesn't need to be a teeny tiny border because you're going to be putting some stuff in it. So I'm going to do that on all 4 sides. Drag that arm towards you, straight towards your chest, and that'll be a pretty straight line. Be sure your paper is facing your chest, otherwise that method won't work as well. Just drag the pencil towards me. And do that 4 times. So when you're done, you should have something that looks like this. Next, you need to decide which of the 4 examples, or if you have your own image, is going to be your main subject. That's the main thing in the middle of our project that we want to be the focus. So I'm going to be drawing a cowboy hat. So I'm going to start off with kind of a rounded M shape like that. I'm going to round off the bottom and draw another line like that. That's the middle part. And the side part's a little bit tricky. We're going to start on the left side. You go up, down, up to the side, and back around like that. There, that works. So go ahead and finish up drawing your main subject, whatever it is. It doesn't need to be super detailed because really line and color are the featured parts of this artwork, not details. It's going to be actually a pretty simple artwork, but it's going to look amazing because of all the lines and color. Alright, when you're done with that, next we're going to use some kind of line pattern to decorate the border. So one of my favorites, it's a classic, is just a zigzag. So I'm going to start in the corner. I'm going to go all the way off the paper, all the way back to the line, all the way off the paper, all the way back to the line. I'm going to do that all the way around. Alright, next we're going to put some kind of little accent that's like a little side decoration in these corners. It needs to be something that has to do with Texas or rodeo or the Old West or something like that. Please don't draw, if you're in my class, please don't draw any like guns for cowboys or something, because we don't like to draw guns in school. That seems like a bad idea. So do something like, it could be a sheriff's badge, it could be a blue bonnet. I'm just going to do a star because Texas is known for its stars, right? just take me a second. They don't have to be perfect. Good thing, because my stars aren't perfect. And that's okay. Alright, now if that's done, we just have to draw lines in the background of the artwork. So stained glass is known for having a lot of lines in kind of random spots in the background of the artwork. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill up my page with straight lines. Don't scribble scrabble. Okay, that would look terrible, and it would be very hard to color. And we're going to trace all these lines too. So you don't want to just go nuts and scribble scrabble. I'm going to draw straight lines. So it goes from this line to another line. I'm just going to draw some random straight lines. Make sure that every line connects to another line. I like to consider these like roads. You don't want a road that doesn't go anywhere. That's called a dead end. And so all of these roads have to connect to another road. Otherwise, like let's say you have a line that goes like that. That's a dead end. Think about how you would color that. Like if I were coloring this, it would just be a random line in the way of the color. So we want to make sure the lines go all the way to another line. So the things to remember when you're doing that background section is that all the lines have to touch another line, and you don't want to make your little shapes that the lines make too small or too big. If you've got an area that's this large with no lines in it, you need to add some more lines. It's just going to look better. You want like medium-sized shapes, and you definitely want whatever your main subject is to be the biggest shape, because that's the focus of our artwork. Alright, so now that the entire stained glass is drawn, we're going to trace all of the lines with a Sharpie. Tracing just means we're drawing on top of the lines that we've already drawn. Try to cover them up. If you don't get it perfect, that is also fine. Not a big deal. I'm going to trace my lines now. Alright, the next step before you add any color is to, oh look, I just missed a line there. If you see any pencil lines that you missed, which is normal, I mean you can see I've missed quite a few, get one of our art erasers or whatever eraser you have if you're doing this at home and try to erase those lines. It's not a real big deal, just if they're real noticeable, because they will still be noticeable after you color if they're real noticeable right now. Just clean it up a little bit. Alright, now let's talk about color. We're going to be using Crayola markers to color this in, and we want nice solid lines, okay? We don't want scribble scrabble. What I mean when I say scribble scrabble is we're not going to color like that. That doesn't look super good. We're going to use the side of our marker. We're going to press down firmly and drag it and get a nice solid line like that. Then you're going to move over a little bit and do another one that overlaps it. That way there's no white showing. And by doing that, you get a nice, solid, even color. And let's say that, let me do one where, let's say I missed a stripe there. Well, that's when you use the tip of your marker and you just fill it in. Alright, so that's how I'm going to color my example right now. So I'm going to do that time lapse to save some time. And that is how we make a stained glass art project. And here's my example. Yeah, I know it's tiny, but I have to work under this little camera here, and so I have to work small. But this looks really good, larger. In fact, I have a previous example that I've made. This is actual size, Isn't that fun? I love the colors. A couple of parting thoughts before you get started is that as far as the patterns go, you can use whatever line patterns you want to around the outside. I forgot to say that. And I like color themes. So like for the border, I used orange and yellow. And for the background, I just picked 5 or 6 colors that I thought looked really nice together and that would really help the cowboy hat and the border stand out. So we'll talk about warm and cool colors another time, but the border is cool colors. Sorry, backwards. The border is warm colors, the background is cool colors, and the hat is warm colors. So the warm colors stand out and the cool colors kind of go back. And so that's why I chose the colors that I did. More about that on another day. Anyway, I hope you have fun with your stained glass project. It always turns out so pretty. I will see you next time in the art room.